Hello for everyone watching right now and anybody who's going to be watching after. I'm Zoe. Welcome to my channel, Zoe's All Booked. We are talking about Revenge of the Wannabes today, the third book in the Clique series by Lacey Harrison. My co-host Neva will be here soon, I think, but for now, I'm going to get started talking about this because this is a doozy of a book. Arguably the most toxic one so far. I don't really remember like the rest of the series as much like the later books, but this gets real toxic. So for anyone who hasn't caught up with the books or this is the first time reading them, this is the book where Alicia breaks out onto her own. We're going to keep this in the back of our minds that this is a group of 12-year-old girls. They're 12. Okay. So Alicia breaks out. She starts her own clique, the Unbelievably Pretty Committee, and it's basically knockoffs of her best friends. She finds other girls to join her group that are almost clones, like they're copies of the girls in her former group, which is just weird. As Claire puts it, it's almost too psychotic, even for Alicia, but that is exactly what she did. So it's some of the shit these girls say and do is just fucking wild. Like the whole series, and I don't know for anybody else watching this if they think the same. This whole series would work better if they were aged up 5 years, maybe even 10 years would be too much. Early 20s would be wild, but like late teens, if they were more in the range of Gossip Girl, where they're late teens, they're seniors for the most part, I think this would be a lot less toxic, a lot less weird, a lot less shitty of the things that they do and they say. So like each girl has her own problems. The whole group, they all have their own problems, but Alicia doing everything she can to take over is a little weird. Let me know if you think the same as me on any of these ones. Like she's trying so hard to stand out that she's willing to bulldoze over all of her friends, every single one of them. There is no holds barred with this girl and her popularity, which is concerning at best. She says at one point that she's considering therapy, which is absolutely a lie, but she really, really should. She's also kind of a compulsive liar because why do you need to be telling everybody that your shoes are from Spain because one person was like, oh, they're retro. And then now you've kind of built it up in your head. They're from Spain. They're from Spain. Girl, just admit it. It's fine. It's fine. Your friends are going to care, but your friends also need therapy. There's one point where she says how there's a lot of fashion don'ts at the school, like much more than she would really care to admit, which is really refreshing because from the first two books and earlier in this book, it makes it seem that every single person is one of the Massey clones. But there's a lot of girls at the school that are more independent than they would have us think in the first couple books. But just that the compulsive lying to make herself seem cooler than she is, to fit in but also stand out, like it's a little concerning. And then we get into who we're gonna Dylan. Oh, Dylan is, I'm gonna go ahead and guess, I said it in one of the other ones, I'm gonna guess that she is not much different size wise from the other girls, but her whole thing with her character is that she's fat and she needs to go on a diet. And it's most often her mother telling her this and her mother making her go on different diets. And her mom bribes her with going to a fat camp in upstate New York called St. Barf's. by saying, if you do this, I'll get you a nose job. 12 years old. Why? Jail time for the mom, a famous talk show host, like absolutely one of the ones perpetrating the heroin chic. Because this is early 2000s. What is this? 2004, 2005, maybe? 2005, this was written. So think back to that time. Absolutely toxic. The mother, the daughters, her older sisters are the same. But like, why are you telling your 12-year-old that she needs a nose job? Your nose is not done growing. Another 12-year-old in this book came back to school, or in the last one, we find out that she came back to school after having a nose job, and she admits it to it in this one. So Alicia, let's go back. Alicia and her new best friend Olivia go to a Teen People interview that we see at the end of the last book. They cheated and they lied to say that they won the fashion competition, the design competition for the new uniforms for their school. And in that time, they were supposed to go to Teen People for an interview, and they're too cool for school. Like, you cannot show that you're impressed by magazine offices. A whole other thing. So while they're there, Lucinda, the employee at Teen People, who's 22, I think, around that age, she compliments Alicia on her boob job. And she's like, wow, if I had boobs like that when I was 12, like, I would have been so much cooler. Great boob job. She got like a C cup, which is not unheard of for 12-year-olds, right? And no one believes her when she says, I didn't have a boob job. Why are we assuming that 12-year-olds are getting boob jobs? They're not, no, boob jobs, no jobs, whatever. They're not done growing. Why are you saying like, oh yeah, haha, don't believe you? 12. Excuse the fuck out of me. How did I get here? Dylan's nose job. Like, excuse me. Your mom is telling you, if you're good and you lose weight, I will alter your face. I will allow you to alter your face. Weird. Very weird. And then Massey doing absolutely the most to tear her best friend down. Like, you guys have been best friends for what, 3 years at this point? And you are so mad at her for cheating and lying, which, understandable, fair. But you are gonna tear her down so thoroughly and bring other people into it and then just smile about it. I think the whole group needs therapy, individual and group. I think the mural, oh my god, the mural. Massey decides that she's gonna recruit Kristen, Dylan, and Claire to paint a mural of their friendship, showing the fashion show and how Massey knows that that Alicia cheated, and then that there's going to be no uniform, and then saying that Claire is officially in and Alicia is officially out, and like, your best friend is sobbing and you're encouraging other girls to continue to tear her down. And that just, girls, why are we friends if this is how you're going to treat each other? Honestly, I said it in the last two. I'm going to say it again. I'm going to say it every single book, guaranteed. Where are the parents? Massey's mom is here and she's all like, I'm zen. I'm in the power of now. I'm totally cool. And then she looks at the mural and doesn't question what the fuck is going on. She's like, oh, good art project. We never did that when I went to your school. Girl, what the fuck? And Alicia's mom, we see Alicia's mom. And at the very beginning, she's like, oh, if there's one thing I know, it's catty women, because she was a model back in the day. Your daughter is one of the catty women, catty girls. You are raising her via your negligence to be the woman that you hated, like the type of woman that you hated when you were modeling, which guaranteed I'm gonna guess you were too. But like, just everything, every single chapter was somebody lying to somebody else to make themselves feel better, or to make themselves look better, or to make the other person look worse. Arguably the most toxic out of the books. A fascinating character study. But I think a lot of it would be less like, oh my god, what? If the characters were a little bit older. Let me know what you think. Like, I think if they were a little bit older, I would be less shocked at how badly behaved they are, how insincere, inconsiderate, overall toxic. I think is just is really the, like, if it's toxic. If the series had a theme song, it would be "Toxic" by Britney Spears. Not the actual lyrical content, but just the name. You know what I'm saying? You get me. And the boys come into this one more. 12-year-old boys are just a time. They're 12-year-old boys, right? But the most concerning, like, hello 911, is Harris Fisher, Cam's older brother. So Cam is the love interest of Claire throughout the series. Spoiler alert. His older brother Harris is in this one. I don't remember if he's in the other ones too much. He's kind of like a side character that comes in and out. Alicia has a crush on Harris. They're in grade 7. They're 12 years old. He is in grade 11. And everyone's like, oh my god, he likes you. That's so cool. You're so cool. Jail time. I think you're getting close to what, 16, maybe 17, depending on your birthday. I'm sorry, what? 16 and 12 is bad enough. 17 and 12 is fucking weird. No, thank you. And like, he's saying, oh, you're going to be so hot when you're older. Just some of the interactions, like how he says that Massey's hot too. I don't remember the exact quote, but it's something like that. Why? I get him hanging out with his younger brother, but why are you talking about the 12-year-old girls this way? Why are you even looking at them in this way? Please move on. It's weird. And just the fact that, like, he ends up being shitty too with the whole, like, Alicia wants to give him tickets so they can hang out because her dad's a lawyer for a bunch of famous people, so she can get tickets to whatever. And that's how she's buying people's affection, is by getting her dad to give her tickets to give to other people for concerts and wrestling matches and whatnot. So she's using these tickets to hang out with him, and she's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go hang out with him a couple times. I'll give him the tickets next time. And once he gets the tickets and is like, oh yeah, I would love to take you, but I already promised my other friend, who I'm hoping, I think he said is like in a class with him. So, you know, someone age appropriate for a junior in high school. And the next thing he says is, oh yeah, the White Stripes are coming to town. I would love to get tickets for that too. Can you hook me up? Like, sir. The whole thing's just, I don't like it. I don't like that. Like, it's instant. Oh, is that Neva? Neva's on her way. I just, the fact that she ropes 10-year-olds with eavesdropping problems, the 10-year-olds become a problem very soon. Not in this book, it is soon in the series. Let me reply here for a second. What was I saying? Words are hard. Yeah, so she's recruiting Claire's younger brother to spy on Massey and Kristen and Dylan and his own sister Claire. Which he does with absolute no remorse. Like, this kid needs to nip this in the bud before. Oh yeah, Todd was. My mouse is too far away. Todd, absolutely problematic. He kissed Massey. Yeah, and took her first kiss, and she was really upset. Like, he's 10. The shit that he does, he's a 10-year-old boy. His parents really, really need to rein this in very quickly. Minor spoiler alert here. There is like something with cameras, spy cams that he has access to, that he just gets off the internet. And uses to spy on people. Listen, listen. I have 4 boys, right? We've talked about this before. I don't have daughters. So, like, the behavior of the general girl groups, not something I'm going to really need to hopefully deal with my kids. But Todd, let me fucking tell you, if I ever find out that one of my boys is spying on girls like that, eavesdropping, guaranteed, I feel like he's good. He's okay. He's 10. I don't want to pass judgment, but I feel like as he gets older, he's gonna be the up the skirt type, right? I. Hi, Neva.
Hi, friend. I'm so sorry I'm late. My ass last track time.
Oh wait, I can't. Oh, why is my? There we go. My volume was really low.
Can you hear me now?
Slightly more. You're a little muffled.
Okay, hold on.
I apologize for that slurping.
I might have to plug in.
Oh, bye, Neva. I think Neva's coming back in a second. For real though, if any of my boys acted even like 1% of what Todd gets up to, kissing girls without their consent at 10, they already know better. We talk about this every single day. You don't do things to other people's bodies without them saying it's okay. You can't wrestle your brothers unless they say it's okay. Neva's coming back.
Can you hear me now?
Slightly better.
Okay.
Good enough.
If I need to plug in my microphone, let me know and I will, but it's just like one of these.
That might be helpful. Caitlin, can you hear Neva? Yes, that photo shoot problem. That was a problem. 100%. I'm pretty sure those were. Let me see. Yeah, elves were chasing Strawberry and Claire, trying to pull their pants down. I don't think. No, little boys. It was cute little boys dressed as elves. Thankfully, it was not adults. That would have been very concerning. Can we hear Neva now?
Here now.
Is that better? Ah, I hear you better.
Is that better?
That's better.
Okay, great.
Better.
I didn't want like reverb through the from the computer through the microphone. So I also attached like my AirPods. You know what I'm saying?
Perfect. We feel like the old commercials. Can you hear me now? Good. So yeah. Personally, I was saying earlier, I think this one is probably the most toxic book out of the whole series.
I definitely agree.
Alicia gets up to some shit. They all do.
They all do. Like, yeah, this one was I gave this one a 3.5.
Fair.
Because I just couldn't get past the, like, I felt like the toxicity in this one was such a stark difference between the toxicity in the first two.
Yes.
Because there definitely is, like, toxicity in the first two. Like, I'm not going to pretend like there's not. And we've talked about that. But this one was like a whole different breed of toxicity.
This was more intentional and more malicious in a lot of ways.
And honestly, from the beginning, like, honestly, from like the first chapter where they're like at the dance class or whatever, and they're talking about like, oh, you could invite us to Massey's sleepover and everything like that. And she was like, oh no, like Massey has Friday night, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, this feels like we're going down a very slippery slope. And like the momentum just got faster as we went down the slope.
I want to know your thoughts on this, because I said at the beginning, the whole series would make more sense and be less toxic, I think, if they were aged up 5 years, even. If they were late high school.
Yes, I agree with you, because if they were, say, 16 instead of 12, this level of toxicity would make sense to me.
That's exactly what I was saying. Yeah.
It feels misplaced for it to be 12-year-old girls doing this.
Like, it's
even in even in a private school setting, because that's what we're getting here, this feels unrealistic to me. I don't know any 12-year-olds, even really affluent ones, that would act like this at 12.
Yeah. That
at 16
examining.
Yeah, like at 16, 17 years old, sure. 15 even, sure. Once you're in high school, sure. I could see it then, but to set this in a middle school with 12-year-olds,
grade 7,
who think that high heels of 3 inches are stilettos is crazy. Like, and here's my other thing with it, I think, is that I've been rewatching Nashville, which I do watch, rewatch occasionally anyway, but Hayden Panettiere died last week. So I was like, well, I need to watch it before they take it off Netflix. I'm probably going to end up just buying it, honestly. But I love Nashville.
Great show.
The level of toxicity in the Clique with these 12-year-olds reminds me of, like, the toxicity that we see between Juliette Barnes and the other famous singer lady. I can't remember her name right now, but if you've seen Nashville, you know who I'm talking about. The older lady. She reminds me of like Martina McBride, but that's not who she is, like, because she's a fictional character. That's what it reminds me of, and those are adults in Nashville. Like, and I understand that what this author was trying to do is they were trying to give us like Gossip Girl, Pretty Little Liars kind of vibes, but all of those girls are in high school. They're not in middle school.
Really toxic friend group in middle school. Bullied, found the books very relatable. So like I see that.
Yeah.
But just for the scope.
The scope of it, crazy. Now, and I'm in no way, like, I'm so sorry, Caitlin, that happened to you, because that's terrible.
Yeah, I want to go back in time and fight.
But I also think, like, that in middle school, this kind of friendship thing happens less frequently in middle school. Now, obviously, it does happen, because Caitlin is telling us that happened to her, so she found it very relatable for that, which is
sorry you found
horrible. That sucks.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And like, obviously, like, I have a 9-year-old who has dealt with some bullying even in elementary school. But I do agree that, like, the scope of this, like, where everybody is toxic, because it seems like everyone is toxic. Like, that this is a dynamic of their school, is to be like this.
Yes. I had mentioned too before you came in, it was kind of refreshing to see at one point how Alicia's saying like there's too many fashion don'ts and like fashion rebels at the school, which was surprising. Are you talking to me? You muted. Okay. But yeah, like we got to see a little bit more of the wider world in the series.
Yeah.
We got to see more of the boys. We got to see like the soccer aspect more, and then the others in the school that are not in the pretty committee and the periphery of the pretty committee. So like it was nice to see that it's like not everybody's a Massey wannabe, a Massey clone. Also, just I've never seen rich people shit like this. They have synchronized swimming classes in a grade school. Like not just swimming, is synchronized swimming.
Right.
What the
Yeah,
fuck?
I think
That's wild.
we will talk about it. Yes, we will have to do it before you go to bed. Go. Thank you. Goodbye. Sorry, all my children came in here all at once, which is why I muted, because they were all like,
that's valid. I wasn't sure if you were looking at the camera or past the camera.
No, I was looking past, but it does sometimes look like I'm looking at it. But yeah, I think that the scope of it is crazy. Now, I do think that the author was trying to write something that was relatable, but also like in the same vein as like a Gossip Girl. But again, all those characters are like 14 to 18 years old.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if it was a publisher thing, because
maybe
we've seen it where they age down from like mid to early 20s into the teens to get it more into a YA space.
Or maybe they aged it down to get it into the hands of 12-year-olds.
Yes, I wonder just because it was Little Brown and then it became Poppy, and they already had the A-list and Gossip Girl and then the It Girl with the spinoff. So I wonder if they were like, this might be oversaturated. Let's age it down a little bit.
That's possible.
So I just not our entire catalog is this.
I just think that their choice to age this one down specifically was a weird choice.
If that is the case, while aging down, I think some of this shit should have been
edited out.
Yeah. Adjusted slightly, taken out entirely.
Because I think it's okay that if the publisher was like, well, I think we need to age down so that everything is not sitting in the same like window of scope, but then you have to change things to make it fit what you're aging down to.
Exactly. And I think a lot of this one in particular is what makes me think that like maybe the characters were a little bit older and then age down so that you can start kids in the YA space and then move them up into Gossip Girl and then into the A-list, because those are for slightly older kids, and it does stand out. You're absolutely right, Caitlin.
It does, yeah.
But this one in particular, with them going to New York with just their driver,
because that's what really got me in this one was I was like, there's no freaking way.
I mean, like they go to the city for their
like
shopping
I understand
trips,
that they are like with the driver or whatever, but like
parental
there's just no way. Like where is the
Okay, and then to the Beyonce concert too.
So I have to now be convinced that these parents trust this driver, right? This employee, for all intents and purposes, so much that they don't check in with their kids. They don't do anything.
And it's not just this family. It's not just the Rivera family. It's all of them.
It's all of them. So all of the girls' families trust this driver so much to take their kids into the city, no questions asked, and be like, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, this is absolutely, I agree here, Caitlin.
As teenagers, sure. I would believe that if they were all teenagers, if they were all 15, 16 years old, sure. You can, as a teenager, I think that you have enough agency of yourself that you could ride into town or into the city with just your driver
Mm-hmm.
because you are an older person. It would, to me, it's like the rich person's equivalent of like sending your kid with their friends to the mall. But I'm not going to send my 12-year-old by themselves unsupervised to the mall.
Yeah. Still too young.
You see what I'm saying? Which I do understand that, like, when we skew things where we're supposed to be looking at this through like an affluent lens, like a rich person's lens.
Also 20 years ago.
The scope is different, right? So the equivalent of these girls going to the city with their driver is the same as like our parents letting us go to the mall with our friends.
Mm-hmm. I know at 12 years old.
And at 12, there's no fucking way. My mom would have been like, are you fucking kidding me?
I was not allowed to go to the movies with my friends without my aunt coming.
Yeah.
She's 13 years older than me. And she would come with me and embarrass the fuck out of me. All my other friends were allowed to go without anyone. But in my family, no thank you.
I was the same. There had to always be a chaperone. Now, luckily, like, I had chaperones that would like sit a couple rows back so they could see us.
Oh yeah, she did that, but then would heckle me. So that was.
Oh, okay. So, but they would sit a couple rows back. They would mostly leave us alone, right? They were really just there to make sure we weren't doing anything we weren't supposed to be doing. Mm-hmm. But I did have friends at 12 that were allowed to just kind of do what they wanted.
All of my friends were allowed to go without supervision. And a lot of them started smoking weed then. And
right. But as a person who, I mean, I have 10 years clean now. Okay, so I can talk about it. I started doing drugs when I was 14 years old. So I wouldn't send my 12-year-old unsupervised to go hang out with her friends. Mm-hmm. Like, she has to go play. She's 9. She has to go play in the neighborhood with a friend. And I'm like, you need to make sure that there's a parent home when you go over there. Mm-hmm. If there's no parent home, you come back. Like, that kind of shit. Yeah. Because, like, I'll be damned. Ma'am. No, ma'am. And it's not because I don't want her to go do things. It is a safety concern, right? So I think that it's strange that this book series is set in 7th grade. Because at least, like, where I live now 20 years ago or so, when I was in 7th grade was the first year of middle school. That's how that worked, right? Okay. So now it would actually be the 2nd year where I live, because now 6th grade is the first year of middle school. So you do pre-K through 5th grade, and then you go to the middle school. But even in your 2nd year of middle school, you're still the same age though as you would be if it, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it does read worse to me because it seems to have either been aged down or originally set this way. Yeah. If it was originally set this way, it really reads to me as weird. If it was aged down and nobody thought to go make changes, it still reads to me as weird, but at least makes sense.
Yes. So what Caitlin's saying here, I think it all depends on
where you live,
where you live, and what your family's like. I'm pretty sure my in-laws would let my sisters-in-law, and my husband go out and do all of these things, but they tended to be more on the naive side. And back in 2005 at the time when we would have all been 12, 13 around then, I think they tended to be more like, my kids aren't going to do bad things. I'm going to go, or I'm going to let them do this. And it would be, yes, parents would drop off and pick up, but then you get into some shady shit.
Right. And then that your parents didn't know you were doing things. Because I think also, as I'm assuming that most of us are about the same age, so we all fall into like that millennial category. As millennials, we've seen the world shift, right? Because we had a childhood that had no internet. Like, we saw the internet become a thing, right? Mm-hmm. Like, a lot of us are older than Google. Okay, so like, we saw the internet become what it is. Like, it's not like our kids now, where the internet is just a given. Smartphones are a given. Like, we remember T9 texting, you know what I'm saying? So the issue with that, or maybe it's not an issue, but the difference with that in our parenting, at least those of us that are not super permissive parents, which I am not, I would consider myself a gentle parent, which is different.
Absolutely. Same.
We know what the danger of sending our 12-year-old to the mall unsupervised, even for a couple of hours with a group of their friends. That just because you're with your friends doesn't mean that you're not going to get kidnapped. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I think that a lot of parents, so my mother technically falls into Gen X.
Mine too.
And but a lot of my friends' parents are Gen X, but they're like the older end of Gen X. My mom is on the younger well, she's dead, but she was on the younger end of
Gen X. Parents are boomers technically.
Because my mom was 16 when I was born. So she is Gen X, but she's on the very like ass end of it. Like the very like newer side of Gen X.
Yeah.
So because of that, I think a lot of it is also that like Gen X is like that generation where they were kind of left to their own devices.
Absolutely. They raise themselves.
And so then when they had children, they didn't know how to parent anybody.
Yeah. And I know
a lot of millennials have had childhood trauma because we've had these experiences with parents that don't know how to parent. So then we've had to parent our parents. And then we're like, okay, well, this is what I'm not going to do when I have children. So then we have our own children and we are like, why did you let us watch these movies? Why did you let us go do this? Like, I've watched some Disney movies in the last like 10 years that I'm like, why? Like, why were you allowing us to watch The Hunchback of Notre Dame when we were 8
That was on this morning and I was like, wait a minute.
Like, Ari still has not seen that movie because it makes me uncomfortable to watch it. And it's one of my favorite Disney movies, okay? So like, don't get me wrong, but I'm just like, y'all really were out here just letting your kids watch whatever you wanted. Like, I vet most everything that Ari watches before she watches it. Like
at this, it's weird because at the same time we have that, but then my mom wouldn't let me go out and do stuff because she was the bad kid.
And my mom was the same way. Is it like when I was allowed to do things, I had to have like supervision, but also like where the permissiveness was didn't really make a lot of sense.
The media was not supervised. Leaving the house was more supervised. Like, right. But then at the same time, like, yeah, we were watching these shows and these movies together, but she never talked to me about it. I just saw some shit that I shouldn't have seen so young, and then that was it.
Exactly. Well, and then
she's like, "Oh, it's all in your head when you're anxious."
Also, and then also like the music that we listen to. Like, I think back to like music that was even played at like school dances and shit. Why were we playing Candy Shop by 50 Cent?
Get Down by B44. If you get down on me, I'll get down on you.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
I was 6 years old thinking that song.
The whistle song.
Oh God, you want to blow my whistle?
Like, what are we doing? Like, and that's what I mean is like it doesn't make a lot of sense. Like the way that we were, it's like that.
I want to come back to this one here. We see this in the prequel when they're in grade 4, grade 5, where the parents are gone for a New Year's party and the kids are by themselves. Like, you are single digits here, buds. And the chaperones, Carter's being shady up there. The chaperones are the drivers.
The kids are left to their own devices.
So I think, I don't know what's going on up there. I'll text Kurt.
Because in reality, like how much authority are the kids? Like, how well are the kids going to listen to the drivers? The drivers don't have authority over them.
Yeah, like they're not parents.
They know that they know who their employees are.
Like,
because we've seen Massey, even in the first book, we saw Isaac trying to parent her and her being like, did I invite you to my barbecue? Why are you all up on my grill? You know what I'm saying? Like, she doesn't have any real respect for the employees.
Anybody. But it's like, it's not even like there's a nanny involved. Like, these are just random. Right. It's the drivers.
They're random employees. They're drivers. They're people. So they're the chauffeurs.
They don't live at the house.
Who the kids know are the chauffeurs. So it's not even like it's somebody that was hired to take care of the kids.
Exactly. So they definitely think of themselves as more mature because they're trying to be adults, I think, to fill the void of the adults that are not present.
Right.
And we see
because they're constantly just left. Right, because they're just constantly left to their own devices. And when you're left to your own devices, you have to parent yourself.
They're acting far too grown. In every possible way. At every possible moment. Like Alicia being like, oh, you know, why are you pretending like you gotta be cool and act like you've seen the inside of a magazine office before. Girl, you're 12. Be excited.
Right, like and when would that have happened?
Can you, like, it's also, I think, a shift now too, as we've gotten older, looking back on this, like, be chalant. All right, none of this nonchalant business. Be over chalant. Like, show your enthusiasm. It doesn't make you uncool. But these 12-year-olds think that you got to be cool. You got to be just unfazed. You
have to act like you've been inside of a fucking.
You're 12. You have no life experience. Shut up and sit down. Like, and then they leave the offices and then they show their excitement, and it's like, great. 12-year-old girls excited to be in the big city, going out to a concert, like something that they don't get to normally do. Like,
but they had to tamper their excitement until they were no longer in the place that they were excited to be.
And then Lucinda herself, the employee at Teen People, is just one big red flag after another.
Absolutely.
I talked about it before you came in, where she's like, oh, Alicia, great boob job.
Which, also, she's 12?
Why are we assuming that 12-year-olds have had
a boob job?
And this is the one where Dylan's mom is like, you can have a nose job. And she's like, yeah, she's just trying to be nice. Maybe, what about you can get a room makeover? Maybe you can
go get your. Here's the thing. I don't even like the thought of acrylic nails on a 12-year-old, but like I would do that before offering a fucking nose job.
Right? Something temporary. Something like, you want to do some like crazy hair dye for a little bit.
Like Ari is 9 and she's like, you just want to go to the nail salon. She doesn't even want acrylic nails. What she wants is for me to get a set done, and then for them to paint her nails. That's what she wants. She just wants to feel like she's a big person and she's at the nail salon.
Exactly.
But could you imagine if one day I was like, well, Ari, instead of the nail salon, we're actually gonna go to plastic surgeon so you can get a new nose.
For losing weight.
What do you mean? Like,
it's the whole thing, like, top to bottom, every single parent in their own way is just, the only normal ones are Cam and Harris's parents, who are just normal parents living a normal life. And they're like,
I mean, Claire's parents are normal, like, as far as like they're living a normal life, but they are naive as hell.
Exactly. They're not fully present. Caitlin and I talked about this with Todd, especially. The eavesdropping, the kissing people without their consent, and then we get into the cameras in the next couple books. Like, they are not anywhere near aware enough of what their 10-year-old boy is doing.
Right.
Which is,
and that's the thing is, like, I feel like they are quote unquote normal parents. They just
head in the sand.
Are very naive. Like they are normal parents that try to parent. Like, I even would say that they try their best. I don't think Massey's parents try their best at all.
They don't try.
And Claire's parents, I would at least say that they are doing the best that they can with what they have, like with what they believe they have. But they are those parents from the raised millennials that thought that the world was safe.
They are definitely boys.
It's a boys. Yeah, it's the boys will be boys mentality. So it's not that they're not normal parents. It's just that they are the normal parents that are naive to the dangers.
I agree. That's But and like everything he does is laughed off. Like, oh, he's just being a boy. He's flirting. Like a lot of concerning behaviors that, especially for the time, like parents would just brush off. Like he says a lot of things that are just like, no, I wouldn't want my kid saying this to a girl they met.
Like, how many times were we told that boys picked on girls because they had a crush on them?
Exactly. And that's what they're seeing here. And like,
and I don't do that. Like Ari's come home from school and said, this boy in my class did XYZ. And this other person in my class said that's because he liked me. I said, absolutely not.
Nope.
I said, because you don't bully people that you like. That's not how that works.
No.
It's like for some reason in this time frame of the world, normalizing abuse was like a thing that was happening.
Oh yeah.
And now we wonder why we have a bunch of millennials that are in toxic, abusive relationships. And it's like, because that's what y'all taught us. And we believed that things like Dilemma by Nelly and Kelly Rowland were love songs.
Oh my God.
Or Lips of an Angel. Do you know how many
everything was cheating? Everyone was cheating on everyone.
Do you know how many millennial weddings I have been to? At least 3, where that is their first dance song is Lips of an Angel.
I hate that.
Listen, and if you don't know that song, listen, this song is a bop, but I
will sing that song at the top of my lungs every single time.
I will love that song till the day I die, but I'm also fully aware that it is literally a man. And even if you've never seen the music video, which tells you exactly what it is, he's literally on the phone with another woman while his partner is in the bedroom asleep.
Honey, why are you calling me so late? It's kind of hard to
talk about. Why are you calling me so late? Blah blah blah.
He literally says, "My girl's in the next room." I wish she was you.
Weak. And I think there's a line in there about it's hard to be faithful. Yeah, it's so hard to be faithful.
You've got the lips of an angel. Just
with the lips of an angel. Like, what is happening? It's literally a song about cheating. And I'm not saying that you can't write songs about cheating. I think that musicians, I'm a singer, right? We write songs about things that have happened in our lives, things we've experienced, things that we've done.
That one was wild, though.
So that's fine that is a song that was written, but the fact that it was touted as a love song,
I know,
is where it's a problem. It's not, to me, it's not a problem that he wrote a song about cheating. We have thousands of those. We have Picture by Kid Rock and Sheryl Crow, right? That
Usher's entire Confessions album.
Usher's Confessions, that whole album, but specifically Confessions 1 and 2, right? We have Dilemma, which is Nelly and Kelly Rowland. Like, we have those songs that are about cheating. I'm not saying that we can't write about those things. Okay, that's fine. We're allowed to write about our life experiences.
Has me saying,
but to make it seem like a love song, I had a friend in high school. Right. Like, I have a friend from high school who married the guy that she dated in high school, and their song to this day is Dilemma. So and no matter what you tell them, when you're like, you know, this song is about cheating, right? Like, you've seen that, like, watch the music video. Like, if you don't believe me, they really believe that's what it's about. But I also have another couple friend that their like love song for each other is Stuck Like Glue by Sugarland, and that song is literally about being stalked.
Twilight. Yeah. Basically everything. everything.
Yeah.
Looking back now is just wild. But
it's
like
crazy.
this book in particular, the levels and the lengths that they go to get back at each other, and to make each other hurt on purpose.
And I just think this series specifically is more shocking because whether it was aged down or it was originally written this way, they're 12.
They're 12. Like, any way you slice it, they're 12. And like Alicia going for clones of her former best friends. Weird behavior. Massey, like, I understand when boys get involved, we all kind of lose our minds, right? Especially at this age. That is like the most accurate thing. Like, first crushes and when friends like the same guy and like letting guys come between each other. That, unfortunately, I think pretty much everybody has dealt with in some way, like crushes kind of ruining friend groups.
Right.
Like, but Massey forcing Claire for her own good to destroy that letter and like cleanse all of the stuff. Like, but also Massey's mating call. She likes Cam, so she hits him with a roundhouse kick from Tybo. Right. I did the Tybo videos. My mom had a bunch of them. Billy Blanks.
I did Tybo videos too.
I kind of want to start doing it in like a serious way again, just to see. I remember doing it as a kid, and it was fucking difficult. And I just kind of like the leotard that he always wore. But like, that's your way of showing off to a boy, is hitting him with a roundhouse kick. Like, girl, what? That is so accurate. Like the weird shit that young girls do to get a boy's attention. Like,
right. And we did, and the thing is like some of the stuff in this book, the reason that I'm thinking that this book was just the reason that I'm having a hard time believing that this was a publisher thing where they decided to age it down is because there are things in this series that are very much things that a 12-year-old would do.
Another argument for this is how it was just written. It says right there in her bio, she created and developed shows for MTV. She was a head writer for MTV Production and a former magazine columnist. Lives in New York City.
Yeah, so I feel like it was just, which it does make it even more weird.
I think she was going for the worst of the worst. Like, in every scenario, what is the worst behavior that a 12-year-old could be on?
Is true, but I also just feel like it just reads really weird.
I think so. I think it's also
because I get glimpses of like, oh yeah, they really are 12. Like the Tybo kicking thing, like I feel like any 12-year-old would do
weird. It's so weird.
Because it's just a weird thing to do. But then we get things like them talking about how they have to change their clothes or their shoes to walk across the grass, so their 3-inch heels, stiletto heels, don't stick in the grass.
They're talking
about. Girl is thinking about that.
They're talking about drinking fattening chai lattes.
Right.
Fattening with, and it was from Starbucks that they were going to get it. So unless the recipe had changed a lot since then, it was the syrup and milk and water. A little bit of sugar.
Right. And a lot of times you don't put sugar in a chai latte unless it's asked for.
No, but in this,
and you can pick your milk. So like it's only as fat. It's literally only as fattening as you want it to be.
Yeah, when I worked at Starbucks, it was like the concentrate, and they've changed the recipe since then.
Okay.
But it might before, back in 2005, I don't know. It might have been the tea bags, but they before with the concentrate too. They had like a skinny one. They had a lighter,
like a flat,
like a half sweet.
Yeah.
So, and it was stored in the fridge. I don't know why the other ones were on the counter. But like, even so, fattening. I mean,
especially when you're picking your milk, so it's only as fattening as you want it to be. But also, a 12-year-old's not thinking about how fattening Their chai lattes are?
Yeah, so
I was
this
like,
like,
weird that 12-year-olds are drinking chai lattes anyway, but like
listen, I was
even
already getting into a chai latte phase then, and
even if
it is my
you negate
lifeblood at this
even
point.
if you negate that part of it as not weird, personally, I don't like chai anyway. So
Okay, we're
that
done
may
here.
be where
I
I'm like,
can't talk anymore. I'm sorry.
what in
Bye.
the hell? Um, but I also like don't like matcha either, and that seems to be like
I
a
can't do
hit
matcha.
thing with kids these days. But I mean, I guess at 12 I was drinking coffee. So it's not that much of a difference,
Yeah,
right? So I
but
suppose when I
the
put it into that
fattening part.
perspective, but I
Mhm.
wouldn't have been like, oh my God, I can only use half a teaspoon of creamer so I don't get fat. I
It's
wasn't
going
thinking
into
about that
my
in 12th
diet.
grade or at 12 years old. I was like pouring my creamer into my coffee so that it was sweet and light and tasted like a dessert. Okay. Like no one is thinking about that at 12.
Um, this though, yes, and like
Yes.
knowing that she wrote for
And she
MTV,
worked for MTV, yeah.
like she was the head writer for MTV production, knowing what MTV was like.
Because honestly, what this series reads to me as, here's what it reads to me like. It reads to me like the worst episodes of like True Life and like the worst episodes of My Super Sweet 16. That's what
Mhm.
this book series reads to me
I
as.
think there was some inspiration pulled from the the kids that went on like Dr. Phil and had to go to those boot camps, the like the
Right.
behavior things. I'm curious in the reunion one if we're gonna see if any of these girls ended up on fucking 16 and pregnant because of
I kind of wonder that too because she clearly draws a lot of inspiration from MTV.
right like I don't I
But it's
because of the
possible
past
that
tense.
she may not. And the only reason I'm saying that is because I do think that 16 and pregnant and Teen Mom to an extent did what they wanted it to do. They wanted it to bring awareness to teen pregnancy and to kind of deglamorize it. And I
Yeah.
do, as someone who to this day still follows the Teen Mom girls and some of the 16 and pregnant girls, I was pretty choosy about which ones I followed. I do think that it did that. And I do think that it also opened up a
Mhm.
conversation for millennials to talk to their parents about other options other than just being forced to keep their babies.
Yeah.
However, I don't know how much like people here know how dark that franchise actually is, but
I've
there's been a
heard.
lot of
I never really watched either one,
there.
but I've
I
heard
mean,
some
we
things.
have like Farrah Abraham who went on to be a porn star and then claimed that she was like coerced to do it. I don't believe her. And the reason I don't believe her is because I know where she came from. She came from the state that I live in. And
Mhm.
like very adjacently, I knew her and her baby daddy, may he rest in peace, back in the day. Like I knew who they were. I had friends that hung out with them.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
she's not like she's exactly the same person she is like now that she was then. The difference is that now she's grown up and has a kid of her own, and I'm afraid that her kid is going to go down a similar path
That's unfortunate.
because Farrah does very little parenting, to be real.
Mm.
It's quite tragic. And I'm not saying that kids shouldn't be able to express themselves. I think her daughter is like 16 now, Sophia is. And that's okay that she wants to be like goth and stuff. That's not my issue here. The issue is the actual permissive parenting that goes on. And it's, I don't know, it makes me sad for the kid. I mean, fuck Farrah, but it makes me sad for the kid. But I do think that because of how dark it is, she may not write specifically from that because there were a couple of girls that ended up like relapsing, like they
Mhm.
were clearly using on the show and then they like got
That's
clean like
unfortunate.
during the time of the show and then later would fall into like pits of despair because like once they're not making money from MTV anymore, what are they
Mhm.
supposed to do? Especially because when it comes to like reality TV, I think what no one seemed to tell these children that signed up to do this show with the permission of their parents, of course,
Wild. That.
was that finding a real job out in the real world after being plastered all over the television set and everyone got to see your real problems, was not as easy for some of them as they thought it would be.
And that was before
even those that went to college, right? Like even those that went to college during or after the show,
everyone knows your business now,
had trouble because they were running into people that knew who they were from the show.
Mm-hmm.
So unless you are savvy enough to be able to either one, find a new, some of them ended up being like reality show hoppers, right? Which that's not good for your mental health either.
No, cannot imagine so.
And then we have some of them that were able to, I mean, you know, we have like Caitlin and Tyler. They obviously went on to be on like Teen Mom and then Teen Mom 2 or 3 or whatever the fuck, and then Teen Mom OG, right? They were on a bunch of installations. The original girls did Teen Mom. They did 16 and Pregnant, then they did Teen Mom, and then they did the Teen Mom OG. And a lot of them are still making money, but a lot of them are making money through social media. I think the only one that was like an original Teen Mom star that we don't hear from all that often is Macy. The rest of them, we hear from them all the time because they're always in controversy online.
Wonderful.
And we hear from Macy's baby daddy because he is a tool within himself. Yes, Farrah is, and that is the issue that I have, is that her body is not done developing. And I think that the Clique may be realistic with really wealthy kids because their parents don't care. Their parents think that throwing money at their children is somehow going to
that's the way they show love.
And that's not, because I've had conversations like with my brothers before. I've been like, I could become super wealthy tomorrow and I would still live the same way that I live now. I mean, I'd have like my own house, okay? Like I wouldn't live with my dad, but I would have the things that I would need in life, my own house, my own car, whatever those things are that you need to live, you know, a sustainable life. But as far as like the way that I spend money, it wouldn't change. We would still be spending about the same amount of money every month because we don't need much more than like our streaming services, some food. And then, yeah, we would do extra things or whatever, but it wouldn't become that I'm spending $6,000 a week because we're going out and just doing crazy shit,
giving the kids their own credit cards to use,
right?
Shopping.
Because at the end of the day, I don't think that it really matters how much money you have. Like, you should still be teaching your children how to do things like budget, because what happens if they come down on like hard times and they don't have any money?
So, which we, semi spoiler alert, we get to a little bit later in the series,
right?
With the Block family. So, but knowing that Jay and William, Massey and Claire's dads, were friends in college, like, I'm curious if Massey's dad was already rich, or if he, from his businesses, became rich. Because generational wealth would make more sense if he's, for the way that he is and the way that his wife is, if they both come from money. But if they were like self-made people,
what I'm actually wondering is if her mom came from money.
I think so.
And dad is
just a vibe.
Because dad comes off much more to me like someone who of new money.
He gets more strict with things, but the mom is like,
and she just acts like she's always had money, so she'll always have it. He at least occasionally acts like money is not necessarily a thing that you will always have access to. I feel like mom always acts like money is something you always have access to.
She's the one that, like, I think we see it in the next one is more like, let's do this thing where we're going to spend a lot more money, like, right away. And she's roping Judy into it.
And we know that Claire's parents don't come from money.
Yeah.
They've been living just a normal ass life in Jacksonville, Florida this whole time.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of their naivete, right? Is that they have lived a normal life.
They come from a different world.
So then being thrust into living with these people that are either independently wealthy or have come from wealth, either way, I think that they're floundering. I don't even think that it's really a thing of like they're ignoring it. I think they legitimately don't know what they're doing. Because this whole time they've lived a very normal
they're in over their heads.
Middle to upper lower class life.
I'm curious what Todd would have been like more growing up in Florida, away from these super like uber wealthy people who have.
Oh, I think he would have been normal.
I think he might have had some of the tendencies, but like.
Yeah, I think that some of this would still be happening. Like I think that there would still be a boys will be boys mentality, because in the time frame that this was written, that was the norm, whether that was right, wrong, or indifference. Like that was the time period, right? Mm-hmm. But I think that being thrust into this affluent school and around these affluent children and him trying to fit in with them has made his tendencies worse, for sure.
Yeah. And I think seeing how everyone is allowed to get away with everything, he's kind of like seeing that, and his little 10-year-old brain, he's like, well, if everyone else can do whatever the fuck they want, why can't I?
Right. And at 10 years old, like, you're in your most like, those are like peak developmental years too.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't even know if I'm really willing to really blame Todd for a lot of the tendencies, because I think that
this is still a parenting issue.
Yeah, I think it's a thing of everyone got moved quickly from being in a normal relationship, like your normal parenting relationship, right? A normal upbringing, normal people, like I said, upper lower class to middle class kind of living, and then they were thrust into this world of drivers and maids and whatever.
You're living in someone
else's, and no one knows what they're doing, because they're also living under someone else's roof on someone else's property. So like you have to kind of go along with whatever they're doing. And so I think that the parenting naivete from that is that they don't really know what they're doing.
And then he's acting
because this isn't what they're used to. And now he's acting out because he sees everyone else doing it. So he thinks that's how he's supposed to fit in, and no one's stopping him. Everyone's hee-hee-ha-haing it away. And I think that some of these behaviors, if they were still living their kind of normal life in Florida, would have been dealt with much differently.
And I think the Lyons family, like the parents too, are almost being weirdly peer pressured by the other adults, like not explicitly, but seeing like, oh, they're allowing their children to have more freedom. Maybe that's just what we need to do to fit in as well.
Right. It's because what's happening is that the peer pressure on all sides is happening without being voiced.
It's a silent peer pressure, but it's still there from the adults. Like I think trying to fit in with these uber wealthy people and wanting to be shunned by the family,
it's like if you
allowing you to live on their property.
It's like if you're hanging out with parent friends, right, who are very permissive of their children. So like they have very permissive parenting, because I have friends like this in real life. They're very permissive in their parenting. I am not. You are going to be respectful. You are not going to be snapping at me, talking to me out the side of your neck. You're not going to be acting crazy, but I'm also not going to yell at you all the time, because that's just not. It takes a lot to get me to yell. So like I am a gentle parent. Like I will get on your level. I will talk to you. I will explain to you why you cannot do X, Y, and Z. But once you start stepping out of line, sometimes my voice gets raised. That just is what it is.
The 90s kid comes out.
When I'm around my friends that are more permissive in parenting, I personally don't let what they have to say or how they feel about it dictate my parenting. But I have friends that are much more like me in parenting, that as soon as you're around those friends, all of a sudden their kids can do whatever they want. And their kids know, right? And their kids know, well, if we go to this person's house or we're hanging out with these people's kids, we're allowed to do whatever we want. My kids don't get that. You're going to get the same parenting at home as you get everywhere else. I don't care. Like everywhere we go, you're going to get the same parenting.
You better
and
be
I have
better
friends that are
behavior
like,
leaving the house.
Oh, you're so strict. Ari's only 9. Why don't you let her do XYZ? Because what's going to happen? Because she's 9, and what's going to happen is by the time that she's a little bit older, 12 or 13, like some of y'all's kids are, she's going to think she can walk all over me.
No.
I don't know who you are. Y'all have fun with that. Ain't gonna be me. And I think it's the same thing in this, is that I think that they had a specific way of parenting when they lived in Florida. But then they moved and they're like, well, we can't tell Claire that she can't do XYZ. Oh, everyone else is laughing at Todd's antics, so we must laugh at it too.
But I think, and we're gonna wrap up here in a second, and this I think is the perfect segue, because in the next one, when we see that things are changing, because at the end of this one, we find out that the Lyons family is going to be moving to Chicago. And they're like, we can't let that happen, which is a huge plot point for the next one. In the next one, we see Kendra and Judy start to clash with the parenting styles, because they are now forced into the same, further into their proximity. And I think that's when we see Judy get a little bit of a backbone, and she's like, no, you may allow your daughter to act however the fuck you want, or however the fuck she wants. I do not. And then Judy's like, no, I am not that woman. This is what it's going to be like.
Right. Because she was pressured to an extent, but eventually when it starts to become against our own morals, like when it starts to become a thing of like, well, this feels completely wrong to me, then there's going to be pushback.
The dynamic change.
That's what we see.
Really fun. Yeah. Like, cause we see more of the parents. We get outside perspective with Alicia's cousin coming into the mix. We get more of the boys. We get more of the outside of school. And we see things kind of shift again in like a less toxic way, because the girls are like more banding together now in the next one. So we get to see more of the parents clashing and how that's affecting the kids. And then I like the next one. I always really, really liked Invasion of the Boy Snatchers, where Alicia's cousin comes from Spain and really shakes things up.
And I do remember liking this next one more. This third one, though, it
feels weird.
Crazy shift of the toxicity made it difficult for me with this one.
I remember really liking this one as a kid because I liked Alicia's stuff more, like Alicia's perspective, getting into the new. Now that I'm older and I can look back, it's because we get the expanded worldview and we see a lot more, and it like really just like the expansion of everything I always found really interesting, which makes sense to me as an adult because I am a world building girly. Less character, more world and plot and whatnot. So that's why I always really liked this one. But Invasion of the Boy Snatchers was always a top favorite because it happens even more, but with less toxicity from the core friend group towards each other. Like, it's always going to be in there because these girls are not great people and great friends. And they have a lot of learning to do, but seeing them kind of like band together against an outside force coming in to fuck with them was always really interesting. So I'm excited for next week's live show, talking more about that and the parents and how their dynamic is changing and how the parents start parenting, which is wild in the series. So
yeah.
All right, we're gonna wrap that up here. Truly, I need to go pee. And the boys are having a camp out, so I need to go snuggle with them before they fall asleep. So thank you for everyone who was watching as we were live here, and anybody who comes in and watches after. I hope you all have a wonderful day, night time, whatever time it is where you are, and I hope you get at least a little bit of uninterrupted reading time. I love you, awesome nerds, and we will see you next week for Book 4, Invasion of the Boy Snatchers. Bye!